Hello, everybody. It's been a long time since I've done a video. So today I'm gonna catch you up. I apologize for just kind of disappearing for a little bit. I needed to take some time to kind of work some things out with my trading um, in regards to what my next steps are. As you know, a lot of you were. I informed you that I was going to be starting with Maverick. Now I got to the point where it was an hour before I was going to make a wire deposit to Maverick for $10,000. So it was pretty substantial, and they were going to give me $20,000 to start. Now how that works is, I mentioned about Maverick in my last video, that they are a prop trading firm. They allow you to trade their money once you go through the vetting process. And so I was going to start at the level 2 since I've done business with them in the past, and I've already gone through all the process. So level 2 was $20,000. So I was going to deposit $10,000 at their broker, and then they were going to allow me to trade $20,000 of their funds. So it would be about $30,000 altogether. I was going to be able to keep 70% of the profit. Now they have a 10% drawdown cutoff, so that means that I have to basically pull back or scale back my profit each month. So typically I would get anywhere from 3 to 5%. I'd have to push for anywhere from 1 to 3%. So cutting it basically in half in order to keep in within their drawdown requirements. So in the end, I was only going to be starting out with $30,000 account, probably about $500, maybe $600 a month. And I was going to just kind of stick it out and stay with them until I reached the $300,000 level. Now each month they do an upgrade if your performance is profitable. Not each month, but every 3 months. So every 3 months you're eligible for an upgrade depending on your performance. So it would take me about, if everything was good, it would take me about a year to get to that $300,000 mark, which was my ending goal. And that would be definitely a full-time income. But there were issues with the 80%. Now, 80% is pretty good, keeping 80% profit. But they also only do business with Interactive Brokers, and they don't have MT4. So it made it so I had to kind of do a roundabout way using a bridge to connect my MT4 trades to the to Interactive Brokers. It's a lot of red tape to get through, and I decided that my options were better going a different route. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about now. As you can see, this is LMFX broker, and I have been with them in the past. And you can see that I have $26,472 there. I basically went back to them, and the reason why I went back to them is because I redid some of my tests with my strategy and found out that I can stay within a 50% drawdown expectation using this broker. The reason why 50% drawdown is notable is because when you take a bonus from LMFX, so when you take this 100% credit bonus, if you look at the terms, they say that if you have a drawdown of 50% or more, that your bonus is removed and you basically get a margin call. Now that's a big problem. It means that basically you margin that 50% account drawdown on, and that's unfortunate. So when I found out about that the first time, I actually left the broker and went back to Oando temporarily, and then I was going to go to Maverick. So I've been kind of bouncing around trying to figure out where the best place to put my money is, and how I can grow it to a decent amount, my $50,000 I guess goal, in the fastest, safest way. And right now I'm looking at LMFX to help me do that. So I did take the 100% credit bonus, and that has made my $13,026. I started this account earlier this week, and things have been going very well. I'm going to talk about the trades here in a second. But I apologize, and this video may get maybe not as high a rating, so hopefully you can still give it a thumbs up, because I have been bouncing around. I have been trying to figure out where the best place to put it is, but I know that you guys do the same thing. You try to figure out what's the best broker, what's the best deal, does the broker give me a bonus, is it credible, where is the best place to put your money so it is safe, and you have the best opportunity to profit. And so that's what I'm constantly doing, and that's why I update this video blog, so you guys can follow my progress on where I'm going as a US trader. There's a lot more, many more issues that we have to deal with as a US trader when it comes to trading the Forex market. And so it's difficult to know exactly where to settle down. And LMFX is definitely not a place I'll be settling down long term. I plan to stay here for 8 to 12 months. I understand that the credit bonus terms, and I have modified things to keep or stay within that 50% drawdown limit. LMFX has been great to me so far. They've done over $15,000 in withdrawals to me, and they have been on a very timely manner. And so I'm pretty happy with them. There was an issue today that I'll mention to you guys in this video, and hopefully that gets worked out in the next couple days. Alright, so going back to the Oanda account, everything is withdrawn from this account. This is this account that's been trading since November, and you can be seen here, 32% profit. I actually have decided to withdraw this entire account, and so it will no longer be updating in my FX book. So I'm sorry for the guys that have been tracking the account, but I've decided to temporarily suspend this account and move all my funds, which I've already done, to LMFX. I wanted all the available funds. Now I could always leave $1,000 in this account, but I want the extra $2,000 since they give me the bonus on it in this account to try to increase the profits even sooner. Alright, so this account has no balance in it now, unfortunately, and everything has been withdrawn, and now it's in LMFX. So I'm pretty excited about it. I hope to stay here for a while. Hope the broker treats me well. And let's get into the trades that I've taken so far. Okay, so the first one was, so for those of you that are wanting to trade like me, I'm going to go over the trades and what I've taken on the account so far. Okay, so first trade was an inside candle set up on the 1 hour chart on the pound CAD. Now you can see that this was taken on when the market was moving down, and I purchased or bought into the pound CAD, and zooming in, excuse me, zooming in, that looks like right here, this inside candle, and I entered the trade right after that on the next candle. Now it went up a bit, and then it fell back down. We entered again, and then again. So 3 times on the entries, and they were about 20 pips apart, and got a really nice pop right here, and all the trades closed out for a total of about 96 pips profit. I took a little bit more on this trade, and it says right here 97 pips, which ended up being about $100 profit, slightly more on this trade on that day. I'm not really sure why it's showing only 100 at that point. I'm not sure what's going on with the stats there, but overall it was a very good profitable trade. All 3 of them were in profit overall. Alright, so I didn't quite get the entry right on the first one, but did end up getting this one, and it bounced basically right after that. Alright, so this is kind of the grid idea here, guys, where a decent entry. If the trade goes against me, I enter again and again, hoping that that bounce will happen. And knowing the pound CAD, it usually will bounce. after a given amount of pips after the first trade. So if I'm wrong in the first trade, and because of the inside candle setup here, there's most likely a bounce or pullback coming. And if don't have the correct entry right here, then I will enter again until I get that pullback, and I did get it. And that is something that I expect from this pair in trading in this way. Okay, so we had another inside candle setup. This one was on the 30-minute time frame. Now, this was actually a really good setup, and a total of 50 pips profit taken on this trade. So you see the push down here made lower lows, and then another push made another lower low, and then the inside candle setup right here. Now we actually had a nice reversal candle here just by itself, and then the inside candle setup right after that, and then the entry that I had at the opening of the next candle. And you can see that this was a really clean trade. It basically went straight up from there. I took $77 profit, which was roughly 50 pips, I think. Yeah, it was about 52 pips or so. So very clean trade, love those ones. And my next entry was here. Now this was actually a manual setup that I was doing. So I took a couple of manual trades. You can see it was right off the big push down, inside candle on the 5-minute chart, and then I entered directly on the next candle. Now it didn't bounce from there, obviously. It went a bit lower. So I looked for a good, decent place to enter again. And the reason why I entered down here is because there was a hold number. 174 was at that level. So I entered another trade, and it was only about 20 pips apart. You can see there was a decent bounce there. I came out with just $12.49 profit. Actually, no, about 24. So it's counting both these trades as separate orders. So about $24 profit on that setup. Now that was a manual trade. Keep in mind. All right, this was a 30-minute manual trade as well. So I'm doing some manual trading on top of the EA trading as well. So this is going to be a bit mixed of an account. So this 26,000. I will be doing mostly EA trading, but there will be some manual trades that I take as well. And so I'll mention to you why I took them, how I took them, when, where, and where they closed out either in profit or loss. So this was after the engulfing candle setup here. I really liked the push down, the almost inside candle here, almost, it's not quite, and then the nice bullish candle here, which had a nice wick and a good body, and it closed well above the open of the previous candle and also the previous wick candles as well. So all these candles here were showing that there was some support at this area. So near the hold number at 74. So I was thinking, okay, there's a hold number in this area. The candles are showing that they want to make a bounce here, and I entered after the bullish candle setup. And you can see that it did end up shooting down a little bit further, and kind of lingered in that area for quite a long time. I wasn't too worried because I knew that if it's lingering in this area, that means it's trying to decide if it's going to push down further or if it's going to shoot up. And usually I like when that's like that, because then I have a really good chance of it shooting up at that point because it's holding. The support is holding down here. Alright, so it did shoot up, and I closed this out at just $100 profit, which was just about 15 or so pips, I think. Let's see. Yeah, 15 pips. And this one closed out during the night automatically because I had an EA that had a set profit in dollar amount. So I wanted to take the profit of just 100 pips on this trade. It closed out. It was great. Okay, 15 pips profit on that trade, and then another manual trade setup right after that. So I actually entered again at the same level. So I saw this peak out, come back down, reversal candle set up here, insecure candle here. So it was going up. It was kind of in this, again, the same level where it was bouncing up and down. So guys, what I'm getting in hints, when I say hints, I mean I'm looking at the candles to see what they are telling me. I'm reading them. And because they do give hints depending on how big the wicks are, how much volume is in the actual candle itself, how volatile it is, the body of the candle. They can tell you a whole lot of information. So I saw this candle here, and then I saw this one here, and this is on the 30-minute time frame, and then I saw this one as well. So all these candles on the 30-minute time frame were giving me hints. And then if I go to the 1 hour, I can see some nice candles here showing me that this support is still holding. And then if I go to the 15-minute time frame, I see even more. So the engulfing candle here, one here as well. Show me that there's potential for a bounce at this level. And then when we go to the 5-minute, that's when I actually took my actually I believe I took my position. I took the position off the 15-minute time frame. Now I do have a 5.4 pip spread, so it's a little bit high, but it's a fixed spread. And I took the position based on what the candles were giving me, like I mentioned before in the past. Show me that the support was still holding. Now this entry, and you can see that it didn't quite work out for me. It went down after that. And so I was looking for a second entry point. And that's when I entered here. That was the second trade. The second trade was entered on the 5-minute time frame. Now the second entry here was entered right after this candle. I really like the setup on here, and now this isn't typical, guys. I know that typically I go for just a strict inside candle setup, and that's what my EA does. But this was a little different because since it was a manual trade, and we're looking at the 5-minute time frame. This shot down. I'm looking for potential reversal points. Now I didn't take this one here at the bottom. This was an inside body candle, but it was the entire candle wasn't inside, so I didn't take that position. It did shoot up, but it shot back down. Then I saw this here. I saw this candle as a reversal candle right here. That one in particular, so this one is the one I'm looking at, where it hit very close to the very bottom with the wick. You can see the big wick, and then it closed above the open of the previous candle. Now this, to me, showed that that bounce was coming. There was potential for that bounce to come. Now the next next 20 minutes, it kind of shot down. The next candle, it was still unsure, and then bam, it shot up, and it didn't just shoot up a little bit. So from my entry, it went about 75 pips. So you can see what I'm doing here is I'm reading the candlesticks to give me hints of when something might happen. But it's not just the candlesticks in itself. It's not just a random price that I'm looking at. It's near that whole number. We can see that the whole number is right here. So it's in this whole area. So anything can move in this area. There's increased volatility. So it could shoot down, it could shoot up, down. And so because of the increased volatility and the insecurity of the price where it is at that point, that's why I was looking for that bounce. And the reason why I'm looking for that bounce is because if you scroll back and you look at the higher time frame, let's say the 1 hour, we can see that there's been a big push down, right? And it's been heading on the downward direction for quite a while. So the more that it continues to push down, the longer it continues to do that, the more eager I am to buy into the market, because that means that the longer something moves in one direction, the more likely it is to move in the other. And that's just kind of rule of trade that you know, if you're trading trends, A lot of people think that if it's moving in one direction, it may continue to move into that same direction. That's not always the case. It's just as likely to bounce in the other direction and change trend on the upward side, right there, right then and there. So just because people think the trend is your friend, it's honestly it's bullcrap, because the trend is your friend until it's done, and the thing is that we never know when it's done. So I really don't understand why people just trend trade, because we don't know how long that trend's going to happen for. A lot of times it can be based on technical analysis, but in most cases it's based on the fundamentals, how the economy is doing based on the currency. So if it's the euro US dollar, what's happening with the economy in Europe, what's happening in the economy in the US, which one is struggling more, and is Trump having an effect on the US dollar, which he has been lately, and how long is that battle with him potentially getting impeached going to happen for, and how much negativity is that going to have on the US dollar. So there are things like that that you have to weigh out to see where the price is potentially going, and that can help guide you in your technical analysis. The fundamentals should always come first before the technical. You should always look at the fundamentals to see how a pair would potentially behave based on what's happening either in the fundamental side or the political side as well, because that's having an effect right now, since a lot of new presidents are coming into effect. Like in France, Trump has only been in office for just over 100 days. So you have to take in account a lot of different things to help guide you in your trading. It's not just one thing. A lot of people just like to do technical side, but they're going to get crushed doing that. If you trade technically, you need to use minimal risk so you can withstand a fundamental news announcement. And that's what my EA does. I don't need to turn it off during the news, but it has a risk management where it's able to withstand heavy political and fundamental news statements. So when I'm manually trading, I'm looking at the certain levels. I'm looking at the pound, I'm looking at the CAD, I'm seeing what oil prices are, considering that the Canadian dollar is a lot of times pushed with the with oil prices, and also the pound, to see what's going on with that. So I hope that this was helpful. I'm just trying to get you guys involved in more areas of trading than just one, because it's very difficult to be profitable in trading if you're just doing one type of analysis. So you can see that things have been going very well for me since I started on this account on 3 days ago. So far I'm up $472. And a lot of that's been manual trading. Some of it's been EA trading as well. 2 of them have been EA trading. So it's about half of my profits that I've had so far, about $200 out of the 472, and the rest were manual trades. All right, so I'm going to continue to do videos when I have the time, and I'll give you guys advice, what I'm doing, how I'm trading, where I'm going, how things are looking at LMFX. My plan is to double the account balance, so make it about $50,000, and then I'll probably make a full $25,000 withdrawal and start the process over, likely either at LMFX again, or at sorry, that's my wife calling, I'll call her in a second, or at Oanda. So I hope that this was informative. I plan to do more videos next week. I'm currently on the road, so this is a different setting. And give me a thumbs up if you guys like this video. I hope that it wasn't too long, but I plan to keep them anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes in the future. So stay tuned, and I'll try to keep things very organized and concise. Maybe today wasn't quite like that, but I still hope you enjoyed it. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.